But the bottom line, if we look at it, just to re-emphasize, we're worried about the causes of death in the world and morbidity and quality of life collapse and long-term end-of-life care, as opposed to staying quite healthy and maybe suddenly declining and passing like would be, hundreds of years ago. So we look at the breakdown of the causes of death. So over a third is heart attack and stroke. This is the biggest cause of death. Cancer is now pushing up behind it for sure. So that's a huge one to focus on. Kidney disease, diabetes type 2, and Alzheimer's, which is type 3 diabetes. So the diabetes cluster, where the death is attributed to that, another big chunk. Now, most of these are also diabetic driven, but they're not called that. They should be, but they're not. So over half in total. Cancers, most of the solid tumor cancers and the big killers in cancer, breast, colon, endometrial, the big killers that make up most of the cancer death, they're all intimately linked to insulin resistance, which is type 2 diabetes. So here you can see where this is going. And chronic respiratory, COPD, it's a hallmark of insulin resistance diabetes. It's almost diagnostic. COPD is almost diagnostic of highly insulin resistant person. So basically most of the pie relates to what we're talking about, insulin resistance. And then we've got accidents. Well, can't help you with that. Just be careful there, guys. And in here, we've got the rest, flus, colds, coronavirus, and everything else is in this slice, which kind of gives a sense of perspective, perhaps. So let's address this risk. So let's look at it. This is me in 2013 in Singapore. I was in a crab meat place, very good. Engineer took the picture. I was very angry. I was quite a bit heavier. And I just discovered what I'm going to show you, what the root cause of disease, obesity, and everything was. So I was just about to embark on my journey of change, and it was a pretty big one. What I found out, because I had serum, ferritin, GGT, and cholesterol were all crazy wrong. I didn't really know what they meant. I quizzed the doctor. What are the implications of these measures? Because I could see I was up at 2 or 3 sigma in the normal distribution of humans. They were way high, so I didn't know what they were, but I knew they were a problem. And they were standard blood tests, so I said, it's not like I got some weird blood test. What astonished me was the doctor was very vague. And as a leader in problem solving, I often have to interrogate leaders when I'm brought in to fix a problem when it's not getting fixed. And you got to be diplomatic, there's a lot of people stuff involved. But you do have to grill the leader and find out what they know. Do they know what they're doing? And clearly this doctor couldn't help me. I knew from the answers. Just wasn't really sure. Talked about whole grains and maybe lower your fat. And I knew that couldn't be anything to do with it. And I went to 2 more doctors and a professor of medicine who I was connected to. And astonishingly, the same problem. They gave me some tips and some things worth checking, but they didn't know. This is amazing. So I hit the books for 3 or 4 weeks and found out this. I found out without question that my problem was excessive carbohydrate. I mean, I didn't have any question because I'd gone through at this stage hundreds of published papers, and I did the root cause classic process, and I came to the irrefutable, in my mind, conclusion. I was excessive carbohydrate and I needed to take all the carbs and sugars out immediately. And that meant I'd be eating a lot of high-fat food, by definition. You take out all the carbs and all the sugars, protein and fat are left. So I switched to eating basically lamb chops and meat, fish, and eggs mostly.